what do you think of the opportunity that Willie just talked about in this game for your program and for yourself?
Yeah, I think it's huge. Coming off last year, coming off, the past years that I've been here, this is what we've been working for. This is what we set the goal to be every single year. So, like you said, just quite the opportunity. We're fired up to be in this situation.
And what about getting the chance to play it here with what happened last year? You saw that environment last year. What does that do for your team?
Yeah, I think, the environment, is huge for us. Having, our fans here, being at home, I think gives us a big advantage. And we're just super excited to be here, super excited to be in that atmosphere, have the stadium packed out, and be able to play in front of all of our people.
What wins these games, Michael, do you think? These kind of – I know every game's a game, but this is a championship game.
Yeah.
What wins these?
Yeah. You got to play all 4 quarters. It's going to come down to grit and, fulfilling, our roles in every situation, taking advantage of every opportunity. Got to make the plays when they're there, and like I said, take advantage of those opportunities. So we got to play 4 really good quarters to be able to win this game.
SMU leads the conference in defense and believe like top 15, top 20 in the nation. What have you seen maybe from their defense that you have to be wary of going into this game?
Yeah, I think they have a really good defense. They've showed that. I don't think they have a lot of weakness in their defense. I think they're a lot better structured than they were last year and past years. They seem to be very disciplined, well coached, and I think they do a good job of putting pressure on the quarterback. I think they're really good in the back end. They got some really good athletes. Coach Fritz talked about that, where they went out and got a bunch of guys in the portal. So they got playmakers all over the field. Like I just said, we got to take advantage of our opportunities. We got to hit guys when they're open. We got to be able to pick up blitzes. We got to have good protection, and ultimately, like I said, just make the plays when they're there.
Last year, you were able to make some big plays in the passing game, especially in the second half, where maybe they were cheating up on the run a little bit. Do you think they're going to try to cheat up and take Mackay away from you guys?
Yeah, I mean, based on the film and what we've seen, they're a big man coverage team, a lot of cover 3 too. One high safety. That's what they do. 90% of their snaps are one high safety. So they're going to try to fill the box and take away the run, and make our players make plays, make me make throws, make our protection pick up blitzes and pick up blocks. So like I said, it's just going to come down to making plays, and we got to take them when they're there, and we got to do a great job in all facets of what we're doing, running the ball, passing the ball, and that's going to be the ultimate goal.
Is there a little extra pressure on the quarterback when they kind of force you like that, when they come at you like that?
I mean, anytime you get pressure on the quarterback, it puts pressure on you. But I've been super happy with the job that the offensive line's done this year, the running backs picking up blocks, doing all that. So not something that I'm necessarily really worried about. I got full confidence in those guys, and I think we'll be able to handle all that.
I know we've kind of been through the whole snowball thing, but how cool was that, the tradition? How much do the players kind of feed off the fact that after you win, you get snowballs?
Oh, it's awesome. It's a little extra motivation, and luckily we've been able to have snowballs 11 out of 12 games this year, so that's a good sign. I think we're doing a good job giving them a bunch of business too. So it works for everybody, and everybody loves it.
Does it kind of amaze you that snowballs can kind of motivate a team like that?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't think that's necessarily the biggest motivation, but it's definitely an extra little factor that fires everybody up.
Even when it's cold outside.
Even when it's cold outside. They got hot chocolate today, so.
Okay. Hey, what would you say it's been like? It's kind of a personal question, but like in terms of personal fulfillment. And for example, no matter how well Jalen Milroe does, he'll never be experiencing some of the things that you experience as a quarterback who's kind of not just a part of, but spearheading unprecedented achievement at a school like this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Can you kind of help us understand what it means to you to have a relatively unique experience like that?
Yeah, I mean, it means a lot. It's what I came here for. I wanted to be able to fulfill a lot of those things, and it's not just me. It's a credit to everybody else around me. It's a credit to my coaching staff for putting me in positions to be successful. Credit to my offensive line for blocking so well over the past 4 years, and my receivers doing a great job of making it easy for me, running great routes, getting open, making contested catches. So, you know, on a personal standpoint, I think it's something that's exciting for me, but, you know, I think it speaks to the whole program itself, and everybody else around me of what they've been able to do as well.
Yeah, but just being part of it, so like, yeah, I know you don't want to take all the credit, for example, but I mean, how do you think that carries a person through for the rest of their life, just having done something so unique, you know?
Well, I guess that's something that I'm gonna have to find out in the future. But you know, it's just really cool to be a part of something and be able to, you know, reach those milestones that, you know, some goals that I set. So I think it's pretty cool.
To that point, I think you heard Willie say the last time that Tulane won back-to-back conference championships was 1931.
31, yeah.
If you guys were able to accomplish that, especially with you being at the QB spot for both of those games,
Mhm.
just what would that mean for you?
Oh, it means a lot. Just to be in this situation, to, you know, be a part of history here at Tulane football, and, you know, kind of achieve some of the things that we wanted to achieve, and, you know, just like I said, making the history and, you know, bringing Tulane back to, you know, what it used to be, and, you know, just raising the bar for, you know, the future as well. So it's just something that's really cool to be a part of.
And obviously, it's a completely different experience, but how much does hosting the game last year, the championship last year, like how much
Mhm.
can you draw maybe from that unique experience of a home game championship game?
Yeah, I think kind of knowing what it's going to be like here at home, and, you know, having everybody here, and kind of just the extra motivation of, you know, how exciting it was last year, especially, you know, after the game we took the final knee and everybody rushed the field. That was one of the coolest things I've ever experienced in my life. So just knowing what we're capable of and knowing the potential outcome is something that definitely motivates us.
Both this year and last, when there's been a play that needed to be made at crunch time, both on offense and defense, you guys have made it
Mhm.
pretty much every single time. How much confidence is that instilled just by now?
Yeah, I think it boosts a lot of confidence, and I think that's, you know, been something that we've experienced throughout the course of this whole season. You know, in a lot of games that have been really close, and, you know, when the play needed to be made on both sides of the ball, the play was made. You know, and I think that speaks to the guys on our team and what we're able to do, because, you know, we've been in a lot of those situations where we really needed to make a play and to come out with a victory. So just speaks to the team and the coaching staff and, you know, everybody involved.
We have a high school coach in this area who's won back-to-back state championships.
Mhm.
And one of his favorite sayings is winning is a skill.
Yeah.
Do you agree? And I mean, how do you go about acquiring that DNA or whatever it is, that trait to make that happen?
Yeah, you know, I would agree with that statement. It takes a lot to win. You know, Division I football, it's not easy. You know, you can credit a lot of different things, but to win a football game at this level is not easy, and it takes a lot. So, you know, being able to have 11 wins this season, you know, speaks to everybody involved, and, you know, the trials and tribulations and the adversity that we've been through, and being able to come out with wins in a lot of different circumstances, you know, is big for this team.
And how much is attributable to Coach Fritz in that regard? We talked about the program and where it's
Mhm.
at, these big picture things,
Mhm.
but what's he done specifically, you think, as a player to elevate this program?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, he's laid the groundwork for this program, and I think that starts with recruiting. And, you know, I think just the culture that he's implemented here and the people that he's brought in, you know, it's something that we talk about a lot, that, you know, you see some of the problems that a lot of programs have, you know, kids getting in trouble for certain things. And it was actually funny, we talked about it in one of our Friday night meetings, either I think last week or 2 weeks ago, and it was on Thanksgiving. And Shane kind of talked about that and said, you know, kind of the biggest problems we have is if somebody doesn't answer Shane's phone call or doesn't text him back.
Right.
So, you know, just speaks to the people that are here, how they handle situations, the type of people that they are, and, you know, bring that back to the people that Coach Fritz brings in here. You know, we're extremely blessed to have high character kids in this program, with good morals and values and respect for everybody else around them.
And his kind of steady hand, I mean, we've tried to pry stuff out of him it's impossible, but like, have you seen that be a strength for the program, and that you all don't really kind of get up too high or too low?
Yeah.
Throughout the trials and tribulations, like you talked about.
Yeah, he does a really good job of keeping things pretty neutral, and you know, in our lows, not letting us get too low, and in our highs, not letting us get too high. He creates a lot of balance for us, which is really important in a game like this. So a lot of credit to him for that.
There was a lot of, I don't know if it was unfounded or not, you see and hear a million things, especially on the internet, about your future last year. When you weighed that, the culture here and what's going on here, how much did that influence you as to what your decision would be?
It made my decision really easy. It wasn't really much of a decision in the first place. You know, this is where I wanted to be. This is where I wanted to finish out, you know, school and graduate and be a part of this program, be with these guys and this coaching staff, and you know, just everybody involved. You know, it's something that you don't get a lot of places, and you know, I think a lot of people think that the grass is greener some other places, and you know, people think about that, but when you have something good, when it's not broke, you know, don't fix it. And you know, I love the people here. I love the coaches. I love the kids. So definitely
Would it have been virtually impossible to go into his office and look him in the eye and say, so long?
Yeah, I think that would have been really, really difficult. Didn't really think about that, but yeah, that would be very difficult.
Have you thought about this being your last game here?
Potentially, yeah. I mean, it very well may be. So, you know, just gonna take it for what it's worth, and you know, experience it, and you know, have the best time that I can, soak it all in.
What was it like last weekend with your family and senior day activity?
Yeah, it was awesome. Getting to have my family here, and you know, senior day, walking out. You know, it was kind of crazy. Just thinking about me when I first got here. You know, 4 years has gone by really, really fast. So just extremely blessed and thankful for the opportunity I've had here.
You said, I'm using your words, potentially.
Yep.
Can you elaborate, or I mean, is the door ajar at all to
For what?
come back?
That's not in the focus right now. You know, I'm focused on this week and winning this ball game, and then you know, all those decisions will be made.
Speaking of focus, just one more follow-up on what Jeff was talking about with Willie. So it seems like, you know, we're talking about how steady he is, right? And it seems like, and correct me if I'm wrong, he's really good at like these three key things, like compartmentalization, focus, and discipline, which are three things that are really hard to like maintain steadily throughout 4 or 5 months of the season. Is he good at that? And if he is, has he done anything that kind of sticks out to you, like any tricks or phrases or anything? I mean, I know there's one or no, but that allows him to keep you guys locked in that way?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's more than, you know, 5 or 6 months. I think it's 12 months. That's the whole year. But I think it's mostly with him. You know, I think it's the way that he carries himself, and you know, he leads by example. You know, he doesn't preach stuff and then act a different way. You know, he practices what he preaches. You know, he sets the bar high for everybody. You know, he emphasizes school. He emphasizes the little things. And when you have a guy like that that is very specific about, you know, what it takes to win, and emphasizes that every single day, you know, that's what builds the culture and, you know, kind of implements that in everybody's mind.
Have you seen the photo of him in college with the mohawk?
I have.
With thoughts?
It was pretty cool. He's talked about it a couple times, you know, but it's cool.
Looks like a tough bastard in that picture.
He does. I'm sure he was. He is tough. So, all good?
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank y'all.
We're on camp.
Cam, when you came here, is your perception of the program from the inside what it was from the outside? And talk about that, if you would, please.
Yeah, so even last year at my last school, I was kind of a fan of Tulane. You know, he kind of pulled for the Louisiana teams that are in any championship. So last year I was a huge fan of Tulane. And then when I got in the portal and I had the opportunity to come here and I saw the vision that the guys had to get back to where we at right now, it was a no-brainer for me. So everything that I saw from the outside looking in was exactly what it is right now.
When you talk about culture, how much contrast and compare the culture here versus like being under a coach like Billy Napier with the Cajun?
I think there's a lot of similarities. There's a lot of structures, a lot of things that it takes to win. It's a lot has to do with a lot of the small things, and the culture of people that you bring into your program is a big thing as well. So adapting from UL to Tulane was easy for me because I had a lot of structure there, and there's a good culture there as well. So it was kind of easy for me to adapt, and there was a lot of similarities for sure.
Did you watch last year's conference championship game on TV, and if so, what do you remember about watching?
What stood out to me was that Tajay Spears kid. That dude was special. Even in the Cotton Bowl as well. So just the players that they had, the level of talent in this conference kind of drew me to this conference as well to level up my game. So just watching that game last year and seeing that they won the championship when I got in the portal was just I wanted to do that same thing, repeat that same thing with these guys.
You had a unique experience, I guess, because while you weren't here for the championship game, you have experienced the championship game
Right.
at home, full crowd, storming the field. How much do you feel like maybe being in an environment like that helps you going into an environment like your home crowd this weekend at SMU?
Yeah, so besides the crowds, just brick and mortars. I mean, it's a stadium, it's a football field, it's the same length. So for me, it's just another game, another opportunity. I wouldn't put it so high, but I mean the stakes are higher, but it's just a regular game. You know, got to go out there, have that same 1-0 mentality, and it's just a great opportunity for us as a team and as players to showcase what we've been doing all year.
Why do you play a lot bigger than you are? Where do you think that comes from?
I think that comes from just kind of how I was brought up. My parents, just the hard work that they instilled in me, and just kind of having that chip on my shoulder ever since high school, college to now. Like it's just that chip on my shoulder just to go out there and play with maximum effort and show that I don't have any weaknesses, even despite my size. I don't have any weaknesses. So that's kind of the things that keep me going.
You're playing a different position here than you did at UL.
Right.
How much has your confidence grown?
It's grown extremely well. So in the beginning of the year, just kind of learning the role of my role here. My role at UL is a little different. I played in multiple spots, just kind of honing in on my job and realizing that this defense is good. So when I have to make my plays, I need to make them. So I'm extremely confident right now. I've been playing confident, so it's been going good.
Second play of the game, you caught the game-turning play last week with the deflection. Is that a play you could have made at the beginning of the year? Just how come?
Yeah, I feel like the other play I could have made at any point. It was just that play at the game. It was film study. It come down to film study, knowing the situation and those things. When those plays present themselves, it's time to make a play, and I was glad I could help my team make it.
What's the challenge this week with SMU? They've been scoring a high rate.
Right.
Just what do you see when you watch them on film?
They like to, if I was an offensive player or a receiver, I would love to play for them. They like to throw it deep. As a receiver, I mean, that must be fun to play in. So just the vertical passing game that they do a great job of getting scheming guys open and taking shots down the field. And as a defensive back, it's an opportunity for us to, eliminate some of those problems that they do present for defenses.
How do you win those 50-50 balls?
You got to work on them in practice. You got to play violent, knock out their hands, fight them down the field to make them uncomfortable. And if we can make those guys hold the ball, our pass rush, they're going to get there.
Obviously, their starting quarterback Stone is out for the season. What do you know maybe about their backup in Jennings, and like what have you observed with him on field?
He's a good athlete. He can run the ball. He can throw it on the run a little bit. So it kind of reminds me of the North Texas quarterback a little bit in a sense. He played a little bit against Rice, so kind of just seeing I think they still have the same philosophy as they've always done. But he's a good player, and it's gonna be a fun challenge for us.
They have a lot of different receivers with catches and no one guy. How much of a challenge does that make it? Because you don't know where they're going.
Right, so that just means everybody has to be on their P's and Q's on the back end and make sure that our coverage is tight and make sure that we're giving the guy different looks. Because you're right, a lot of those guys do have a lot of receptions at different spots and positions. So it's just everybody being on one accord in the back end.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.